Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, and in today's video we are gonna react to the patch 3.1 Death Diary or preview, so let's hop right into it.
Alan here from the wildrift team.
Oh,
We're back
nice.
once again with your introduction to the latest patch. For this episode, we'll be taking a deep look into 2022, including our upcoming priorities as a team and what you can expect from us this year. Let's dive right into the state of the game. We believe we've made some good progress over the past few patches, with game balance and champion balance in a decent place, and stability and latency improving for many of you. That said, we hear you and know that there are still issues with game fairness, including AFK and intentional feeding. We also want to give you more visibility on when we penalise players based on your reports. These are really high priorities of the team, even if we don't have specific updates today.
Is that the American
We're still working
pronunciation?
on releasing into South Asia, as well as our console version of the game, but we won't have any updates on those in 2022. We
Wait, they just confirmed Indian release is not gonna happen this year? They just confirmed that. I'm sorry my brothers, but it's bad man.
appreciate your patience while we've been working through these, and we look forward to providing more news when we can. Today, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about gameplay. Looking at patch 3.1, we're taking a big step forward with our largest gameplay overhaul yet. Wildrift is going elemental. Elemental Rift is an evolution of the current Wildrift map, adapting the dragon and terrain mechanics from League PC, but with a few streamlined changes. This will look a little different from what you saw in January, because we're looking to achieve a few new things. In addition to team comps, runes, and item builds, we want to make games play out differently each time. Between objective team coordination and individual ability to impact a game, Elemental Rift will give us more tools to make sure that the game remains dynamic and fun. We're also looking to even out the gap between coordinated teams and solo players. We have a few ideas on how we can achieve this, and trying a variety of changes in the future will help us hit these goals in the most satisfying way possible. With a huge change like this, we want to be prepared to make adjustments, so we're thinking of Elemental Rift as part of a testing phase. In patch 3.2, you might see a version of it that looks very different from what you'll see today, because we're still exploring different options and deciding what will work best. Wherever we land, we'll be keeping a close eye on the effects of these changes, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback. In this first version of Elemental Rift, slaying each dragon offers a unique buff, but taking enough dragons also grants the Dragon's Soul, a powerful buff that matches one of the dragon's elements. We're still working on how many kills it should take, but in this test run, Dragon's Soul will trigger after the third dragon, so you'll be able to obtain 3 buffs along with your soul. Infernal Dragon now grants bonus attack damage and ability power, and the Infernal Soul creates explosions around your abilities and attacks, dealing bonus adaptive damage in a circle around your target. Mountain Dragon increases your armor and magic resist, and the Mountain Soul grants a shield after not taking damage for a short while. Ocean Dragon restores health over time, and Ocean Soul restores more health when dealing damage to enemies. The first 2 dragons are random, then after that, all dragons will match the element of the rift. You'll always know which dragon type is coming next before it spawns, so you can prepare to fight for it or trade a different objective if it doesn't fit your team comp. You might have noticed that we didn't cover one element. With the arrival of Elemental Rift, we're removing Cloud Dragon.
Pray respect.
During our playtests, we
Most
felt
broken
that Cloud
dragon
Dragon offered
beforehand.
mostly hidden power that was hard to notice in-game, making it less interesting to play around and less enticing for objective-minded teams. Without Cloud Dragon, we'll have extra space for the more exciting elements to shine.
Really?
You'll also see that Dragons, Rift Herald and Barons spawn later in the game, and Dragons will be a bit easier to take. By building more time into objective spawns, we're hoping to strike a better balance between team performance
Wait, I need to hear that again.
and spawn later
Dragons, Rift Herald and Baron spawn later in the game now.
in the game,
Oh.
and Dragons will be a bit easier to take. By building more time into objective spawns, we're hoping to strike a better balance between team performance and individual play. Players will have more options to choose how they want to play the early game, rather than needing to rush the objective right away. We've also totally revamped Elder Dragon, making it much closer to its League PC kin. After the Dragon Soul has been taken by a team, Elder Dragons will be up for grabs, offering a game-ending true damage burn effect and executing enemies when they drop to low health. If your team picks up Elder, it's time to fight. After the second dragon is slain in each game, the map terrain changes significantly, offering new gameplay opportunities that match the third dragon's element. The Infernal Rift burns away brush and opens new pathways to red and blue buff. This can offer an advantage to the winning team for deep warding and aggressive invades, but also means the path back to your base is much shorter. The Mountain Rift forges new terrain in the jungle, as well as a defensive wall in the front of the Dragon Pit. This rift offers new flanking routes and ways to force your opponents into a bottleneck for an AoE explosion. The Ocean Rift spawns more brush across the map with bumper crops of honeyfruit. Use the brushes for surprise ambushes, or just put on some rainy lo-fi beats and heal up for the next fight. Whether you're hopeful or nostalgic, we know there are many gameplay elements that players love.
I'm gonna
about
talk later about Elemental Rift and the items,
true
because
Wildrift players.
it's gonna be interesting how that's gonna affect the
we're
meta.
also hoping to address some of the gameplay pain points you may have encountered. So, we'll be testing this rift during limited time windows in a totally separate queue during patches 3.1 and 3.2. This will allow us to monitor and make adjustments before it replaces the existing Wildrift map fully in our pre-season in patch 3.3 later this year.
And
until then,
Ocean
enjoy
Dragon,
the current rift in ranked and esports broadcasts as we head towards the Icons Global Championship. And again, we're exploring versions of Elemental Rift that might look different from this one, or even from what's currently in League PC. Expect to hear more about that in the future. We're looking forward to seeing how your games play out with raw elemental power at your disposal, and we can't wait to hear your feedback on these changes when they roll out for testing. Shen, the Eye of Twilight, will be teleporting in very soon. Shen wields his blades of steel and spirit to protect Ionia and its allies in the Barren Lane. His spirit blade follows him and grants
River
him more
Shen
damage
hype.
against his
You guys
foes,
want to see
and
River
protection
Shen
when
video?
his team
I'm gonna make
needs
it
most.
before guide, before
Shen
gameplay.
isn't a particularly
River Shen
stealthy
first.
Kinku, but he
You
makes
guys wanna
up
see
for
that?
it
Leave a
with
like.
defensive options and hard crowd control. Slide on into the enemy team to taunt them and block basic attacks with Spirit's Refuge to nullify enemy carries. With extreme tankiness and the ability to stand united with allies from anywhere on the map, Shen maintains the balance for his team at any cost. Tipping the scales in support and mid lane,
Karma and Shen are gonna be so strong.
empowers her teammates and
They're
slows
both
her
gonna be
foes.
so strong.
Karma has a couple of changes from her PC version, with a
we
greater
need to listen
focus on her
carefully.
battle mage playstyle. We thought we'd go into a little more detail with
Karma
Karma
Rework.
to highlight some of her differences.
I've already heard of them.
First up,
but let's
we've
see.
moved Karma's ultimate to her passive. Every spell Karma casts, she gains a stack of mantra, and at 3 stacks, her next ability is empowered. Inner Flame fires a blast of energy, dealing damage and slowing enemies. When empowered, it leaves a slow field, which explodes a second time. Focused Resolve now tethers up to 2 nearby champions. If those champions fail to escape the tether range, they're rooted for a short time. When empowered, this ability forms an additional tether, forcing those enemies to scatter. If any of the tethers aren't broken in time, the enemies get a mega root for a longer period.
They even
Karma's
say
third
mega
ability,
root. Oh no.
Inspire, grants an ally a shield that offers movement speed. Under the effect of mantra, the shield could empower an additional nearby ally. Finally, Karma's brand new ultimate, Transcendent Embrace, forms a ring of spirit energy, dealing damage, slowing and knocking enemies into the center if they're caught on the edge. We want to give Karma players more ways to control her enemies throughout the game, and Transcendent Embrace is the centerpiece of that playstyle. In testing, we called it the donut.
Yeah,
While this year is starting off a little quieter, we're going to ramp up the amount of champs later in 2022, and we wanted to give you a small taste of who you can expect. This year, we've started with peace, harmony, and fluffy cats. But 2022 is the year of the edgelord. Later this year, we'll be revisiting some battle-scarred locations in Runeterra. Next up, we're heading to Zorn, Bilgewater, and Noxus. Nothing personal, kid. We'll see you there.
I've seen some theories about new champions.
Our mission this year for gameplay is to make games more
Some people
satisfying
said
and
Kane.
motivating to play. So we're focusing on competition, social play, skill, and challenge. That sounds pretty broad, but giving you more freedom and skill expression in your games is a huge part of that effort. And of course, keeping the game balanced is a top priority too. We're giving more options to fighters in this patch with the introduction of new items. Divine Sunderer is the perfect option for champs looking to brawl who want some extra health and damage. We want to offer a sturdier alternative for bruisers that traditionally build Trinity Force. After using an ability, your next basic attack will deal a % of your target's maximum health as bonus damage. If that target is another champion, you will also heal for some of the damage you dealt.
About the new items.
Wildrift is for champs who want
So
more
definitely check that
durability
one out.
and split-pushing
Because,
power.
I tried to explain
While no ally
how
champions
those
are near
items
you,
are gonna affect
you'll
the
gain
meta.
bonus armor and magic resist and deal more damage against structures. You'll also give a mini boost to nearby minions so they can keep you company on your split-pushing journey.
Those two items
Also
are gonna.
in this patch, we're making some small
Not sure
changes
if
to
Wildbreaker is
other
gonna
items.
change the meta too much, but Divine
Fimbulwinter
Sunderer is
will
gonna
be
be
more
huge.
closely aligned with its PC version, offering its trademark shield on slows as well as hard crowd control. Death Stance is becoming an AD and armor item, as we felt that there were too many unimpactful choices offered by the AD and
It's
health
gonna make
items
bruisers
in
even
Wildrift.
stronger. Like they have
Fulfilling
Death
its
Dance,
original
they
intended
have
purpose,
Hullbreaker,
we're
they
reworking
have
Solari
Divine
Charge
Sunderer.
Blaze passive to make it more appealing to monks.
I don't know how they're gonna change
Headset
Charge
Mega
Blaze,
Drive
though.
is getting a significant buff for champions that can pull off several stuns at once, like Morgana or Alistar. Pulling off the perfect CC chain could mean you get to cast your active item multiple times in a fight. In addition to a whole host of items, we wanted to take a close look at the support role. We know supports have needed more love for a while, so in this update, we're rebalancing support summoner spells to give players more active options in the laning phase and in teamfights. First, we're strengthening the initial slow on exhaust to give more offensive and defensive options. Heal will now grant more health to the healed ally and less to the user. And Ignite is retuned to be more effective in the early game and weaker in the late game. One idea we're thinking about for 2022 is theming our major patches to address specific game balance or systemic changes. Next patch, we're hoping to have some updates on map vision, and we're also looking at the impact of our current rune set.
Maybe pink
Which
wards.
system should we look at
I guess
next?
pink wards.
Leave us some suggestions in the comments.
Report
The
system.
next season of Ranked will soon be
Matchmaking.
underway, and
Matchmaking.
that means
But
there's a
they
new
did say
glorious skin up for
3.2 will be
grabs.
matchmaking.
Just make sure she doesn't grab you first. With the start of the new year of Ranked, we're giving the glorious theme a makeover. Glorious Crimson Evelyn is your
Maybe they
skin
would
reward
buff
for this
Evelyn
season.
if they're
The best
promoting
is,
a new
don't
Evelyn
let her
skin.
flop. Starting with Evelyn, you can also grab what we're calling a weapon augment for glorious skins in the Ranked store to serve even harder. This visual update empowers the Chosen Champ's source of power to recognize your commitment to the climb. With our explorations coming to an end, many mysteries are still left unsolved. Thankfully, we've hired some private expertise, as psychic detective Senna is on the case and making her debut in this wild past, just in time to help
Hell's
us get
Devil
to the
already
bottom
happy
of this
about the new Senna
mind-bending
skin.
world.
Yikes. But no new Jin skin. Nah, lucky buddy.
In Champ
no new
Select,
Jin skin.
if you're in the jungle, you'll now automatically be assigned Smite. This way, you won't face final boss level 1 red buff if you accidentally switched away. We're introducing the News tab. Patch notes, game news, community events,
That's cool.
esports and videos are now
How
easily
about
accessible
promote
through the app.
content creators like darkbreaker? New tier list 3.1
As we
coming
mentioned
soon.
in January, we're going to be
How about that
running
one?
more events this year with less downtime between each one. But part of that is going to be varying the types of events we run and experimenting with different ways to play. To give you a taste of what's happening later this year in Wildrift, we'll be revisiting High Noon, Pool Party, Pulsefire,
Cool party
maybe
draggers.
even further beyond.
I can feel it.
Further beyond.
If Riot is smart, they release Pool Party Ari
Sorry, I got
for free
distracted.
dongs to
Our
the moon.
biggest
by the
focuses
way.
this year will be on our
If they're
shared
smart.
moments with League PC, like Lunar New Year. We'll collaborate a few times a year on huge unforgettable moments with new skins, stories and more. Those larger events will stay under wraps for now. Now, let's get back to it and showcase some of the skins headed your way in patch 3.1.
Shen, cool. You guys already know, new Shen videos. Shen guide, Shen support, River Shen, Shen top lane, Shen jungle, Shen mid lane. You guys wanted Karma top lane, Karma mid lane, Karma support. You guys wanted Karma full AP, Karma CC chain. Karma will be broken as far as I can feel it. Especially since she's so strong in the big side. Renekton is such a mean skin around here, guys. Pajama guy here as well. Kinda cringe. Yeah, give me Camille skin, Fiora skin. The cool skins, not the fucking pajama skin. Yikes. Ah, great skin. Cool. Oh, brand skin. Cool.
We'll be back in May with more updates and announcements. We wish you good luck on your climb, harness the power of dragons, and get ready to defend Runeterra's connection to the spirit realm. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Thanks, Alan. Nice. Guys, I didn't react too much during the video because I feel like a lot of people were always like, just let us watch it and then afterwards give your reaction. Elemental Rift's definitely hyped. I was told it's not gonna come out in ranked immediately. Until 3.3, it's not coming out in ranked, so they're just testing it for now in standard games. If that's not wrong, maybe, I don't know. Elemental Rift's really interesting. That's gonna change the meta, and at the same time, there will be a shift towards. Okay, do you play split push with Hullbreaker? Like, split pushing champions are gonna be stronger, but at the same time, the focus on dragon is gonna be more important as well. So you have to decide whether or not you're gonna give up the first dragon and contest the Herald instead, and then go for the top turret, or you're just gonna leave the split pusher alone and hope he's gonna get the turret on his own with the new Hullbreaker item, which will make him take the turret quicker. So on champions like Jax, maybe Camille, maybe Fiora, Nasus, you can use Hullbreaker. I think Divine Sunra has much more variety on the usage, not only on top laners, but also on ADCs like Senna and Ezreal, Vayne, maybe even Vayne. But definitely on champions like Fiora, Camille, Jax, maybe Darius, Wukong, etc. You can run Darius, like Juggernauts as well can run it. So champions that benefit from Spellblade can definitely run Divine Sunra, and Divine Sunra is also really good against tanks. Not only in the matchup, but also in general in team fights. So now the question is, okay, when do you go for the Herald? When do you go for the Dragon instead? Can you sacrifice giving an Elemental Dragon, which is gonna grant you, which is gonna be important later on for the soul? Is it worth going for the tier 1 just for the better tempo, for more gold in the early game? But they also changed the timers. I think them changing the timers of the first objective is going to be big and gives more space and more breathing room for top liners. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I think the meta will definitely shift towards. I mean, it's hard to say. Team fight orientated team comps are going to be very important for dragon fights, obviously. But at the same time, split push are going to be better. You have to say, though, that split pushers are obviously not that good in wildrift because the map is so small and you're fighting so early on, and being there for the early team fights is really important. Like I said, Shen and Karma are going to be insanely good. Guys, make sure to subscribe and activate notifications because 3.1, a lot of content is coming out for Baron Lane especially. So who do you follow for Baron Lane content? Yeah, Fiora, Camille. Like, I will cover a lot of new item builds, tier lists, guides. For Shen, obviously, also for Karma. I think Karma is gonna be a really hot pick, not only in the support or mid lane, but also in the top lane. And then Shen as well. Shen is gonna be huge because he can hold the lane. He can run Shen with Divine Sunra works as well. So a Shen that is super tanky, or with Hullbreaker. You're super tanky, you can hold the lane, and then you can just join the team fight, so with the ultimate. So you have ultimate and teleport, or you just go ultimate and stoneplate. So definitely really, really strong pick. I think he's gonna be super strong in wildrift. Maybe the value won't be as high as on PC, where you can't get teleport as an enchantment, and the map is much bigger, so the teleport advantage is way bigger on PC than in wildrift, but still, that's gonna be huge. Crowd control, he has the AoE taunt. I mean, the Shen taunt flash combo is definitely insane. Otherwise, they did say they are gonna touch report in AFK this patch, so let's see what they're gonna do. Hopefully, it's gonna be really harsh and big punishments, so that's gonna be nice. And matchmaking 3.2. Now listen, guys. Listen who is still here. Hashtag matchmaking breaker, because I have some news, some leaks for patch 3.2. And I'm also gonna cover my opinion about the current changes, what I think about them, what they can improve, and definitely some leaks here and there. I talked with the lead dev from the matchmaking team, Joshua Menke, so that's gonna be interesting. And that's gonna be it for the reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I see you next time. Bye bye.